7 and verse will be the same salvation. He said, however, in verse 3, I found it necessary to write to you to contend for the faith as once for all delivered to the saints. Now that phrase there, contend for the faith, some versions call it to give a defense. Some versions say to contend earnestly. Some versions say to vigorously defend or vigorously give a defense. And I cannot remember the version off the top of my head, but I found it interesting because there was one version that said agonize for the faith. And you go look at the Greek word, and agonize is a very good word for it. And it doesn't mean that living a Christian life is agony, even though there is trials and hardships. But the idea here is that my subject matter was supposed to be pleasant, but circumstances have made this particular message necessary. In other words, I'm not going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I need to do. And so, looking here at verse 3, it sets for us there's a problem that he has to address, and he starts it off by saying that, first off, any prophecy that you receive better come from God and not from man. Essentially what he's saying. Then he says, starting in verse 1, it says, But false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in destruction, heresies, even denying the master who brought them, bringing upon themselves swift destruction. And many will follow their sensuality, and because of them, the way of the truth will be blasphemed. And in their greed, they will exploit you, and with false words, their condemnations from long ago is not idle, and their destruction is not asleep. So we turn over back to Jude. We see in 2 Peter, starting chapter 2, it's almost as if Peter is giving them a warning. These are the kind of people that are going to come into you. These are the people that are going to try and blend in with you, and these are the things that they are going to try to do. And then we pick up in verse 4 of Jude, and it says, For certain people have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were designated for this condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of God into sensuality and deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so here in 2 Peter chapter 2, it's almost as if Peter's saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. And then Jude is saying what? Guess what is here? It's coming, and now it's here. And so Jude decides to address it. An interesting note, just for FYI purposes, in case it comes up in Bible trivia, there's some scholars who believe that Jude actually scribed the book of 2 Peter for Peter. And so they say that may be why there's a lot of similarities between 2 Peter chapter 2 and the book of Jude. I don't know if it's the case or not.